All right. Thanks for joining for another episode of Evening Crypto with your boy, the Real Shocking 56. Gladly bringing you another video on some Bitcoin and cryptocurrency technical analysis, as well as some of the news from today, being a big day with Bitcoin, sorry, LibraCoin being announced by Facebook. They've actually officially released the white paper for their new cryptocurrency and what they intend to do with that. So we'll get to a little bit of that. I know that it's probably you have probably sorry, can't speak tonight, been saturated with all kinds of articles about LibraCoin, but I wanted to bring you a different perspective on my end, kind of what I think nobody's really looking at there, or doesn't seem to be like the main point of focus. So I want to bring you some of that, and hopefully you'll enjoy that. And also just kind of highlight the differences between Bitcoin and LibraCoin. So if you know anybody that is new to the crypto sphere and doesn't quite understand the fundamentals of Bitcoin, this might be educational for somebody like that to be able to differentiate between a traditional or what, the ruler of all, the one that got everything started as far as decentralization and free money. Um, this could be a good way for them to learn a little bit about what Bitcoin's about and what LibraCoin is about and how they differ. So looking at the state of the market right now, currently let me make sure I refresh this, give you an accurate reading here. We're at 284 billion market cap and trading volumes at 53,000 or 53 billion, sorry, and Bitcoin dominance is up to 57.3%. That number has actually been steadily there. So has this trading volume here between 63 and 53, so about $10 billion worth of trading volume in the last 24 hours. All right, so let's get into some of the Bitcoin TA and cryptocurrency TA side of things, and then we'll jump into the news. But I wanted to bring out the pitchfork again. I've done some technical analysis on Bitcoin on my prior videos. If you go back a couple of weeks, you'll see that I was using this pitchfork and was telling you guys how Bitcoin was on the move and was in this trajectory to 10,000, and the pitchfork was actually calling it quite well. I mean, to the point, right? We saw that Bitcoin made this move up here to the middle of the channel at around $8,300, and then came back down. Tried to get back into that middle of the pitchfork channel here, but was unsuccessful. Then came back down, tested the bottom of the channel here, the bottom of the pitchfork channel here, but staying within the range, right? So definitely, we were saying that Bitcoin is definitely in this trend channel and is on the move upwards. And as long as we didn't break that channel, we would still and remain bullish on and certain that the move to 10,000 was going to happen. But then we broke out of the channel down here, broke out of this resistance or support line coming along here. You can see it. Let me actually, maybe I'll draw this here. God darn it. I hate when these things happen. Sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to play some music here and lighten the mood. But yeah, let's do a trend line. Ah, all right, right here, bottom of the channel, right there, and then we broke out of that trend, and things started to look a little gloomy. Started to look like maybe Bitcoin was not going to make that move after all. But then we have actually regained the bullish momentum. We did see a little consolidation here after this dip, and we did see some volume and buying pressure coming back into the market on Bitcoin and pushing it all the way back into the pitchfork bottom of the channel here, and turn that resistance area or this resistance trend line back here and just, I mean, bursted right on through that and got close to that middle, sort of close to the middle of the channel here. So, you know, I think I'm going to keep using the pitchfork going forward until we see a definite abandonment of the pitchfork here, and then the Bitcoin might go into, you know, the golden pocket area down here in the either the middle of 6,000 or maybe high 5,700 or high 5,000s. I think again we'll keep playing with the pitchfork for the near future, uh, unless something, you know, drastic happens and that is no longer relevant. But I think this pitchfork has called it quite well. I do think we are going to see a test again of the middle of the pitchfork. Let me bring it out to the daily so we can take a look at it a little better. Let's see here. All right. So from here, we see that, you know, the next move could be right around here, right in this area. So, I mean, just pointing at the prior high back here of, you know, 9,900 or 10,000 if you use the wick right there. And we'll actually draw a horizontal trend line along with it right there. So we should be hitting the measured move here into the middle of the channel, and thus completing the move to 10K. And then again, we'll reassess from there once we get there. But I do think, you know, I do think we should strap on and definitely brace ourselves for this run here, which should be coming, in my opinion, should be coming within the next week or two at the most. The RSI on the daily is looking in the bullish control zone. Let's open that up a little bit here. Did cross to the downside, but I do think, you know, in order for us to make the move to 10,000 on the daily RSI, I do think we might have to get a bounce up and another cross to the upside in this area here. Trying not to get too far into the neutral zone here, because if we do, I mean, the bears could catch fire and just take a hold of it and bring it back down, which would mean again a retest of possibly this area down here around, I want to say 8,200. I'll draw a trend line right around there, around the 8,200 range, right there. And then, you know, if we do get a bounce there, I mean, there's a couple of places here that where Bitcoin can actually bounce, like up here on the 235, right here, and then the again the this level of support here. Currently, I mean, way above any major and simple moving average. So again, looking very, very bullish at the moment on the daily. Let's get back down to the 4 hour. Still looking very, very bullish. The 21, as you know, as usual, acting as support and trading right below the 30 simple here, the orange 30 simple, right in that range here. But I do think again, it's only momentarily. It is like it's doing here, like it did here, consolidating. It's doing the same kind of thing over here, and then again, wait for that breakout move to 10K. So yeah, definitely, if you're long on it, that's awesome. You guys are probably raking it in. Um, it's not a good time to be shorting it, in my opinion. Again, not financial advice, but you know, it's pretty obvious here what's going on, and that you should be going with the trend, which is to go along or just keeping the trade. Um, and you know, don't try to fight it until we do see again confirmation that the trend has ended, and we do see that Bitcoin has some major retracements again into this maybe golden pocket area. I mean, that would be again something that we're expecting, but also a healthy move to the downside. Maybe some consolidation down here again will definitely serve as future support for price action in the future. So definitely look out for that. Keep your eyes open. And then we'll go over to Litecoin on the USDT pair, and looking again, you know, looking still bullish. Would be again the same as Bitcoin. Would not go against the trend. It looks like it's sort of flagging out here We can call this a sort of a wedge or triangle right here, and we'll draw the support right in here. 55 is currently acting as a major support area. Once we get to right about, I want to say like right in here, we're going to see Litecoin make a move either up or down. I do think the move should be up, and actually let's try to put a measurement on this. Oh, crapola. All right, so let's try to make a measurement here. So once we break out, let's call it right here. The breakout happens there. We are going to see it. I mean, this would make total sense because again, this would mean that we've broken through the prior high, and since we are on an uptrend, that is to be expected. In this scenario, the TA is actually calling it, in my opinion, I mean, just right on. So this would be our next target here. Draw a trend line here. This would be our next target for Litecoin. Didn't do it. All right, let's try this again. Horizontal line. Right there. Here we go. Perfect. All right, so that would be a measured move if we do decide to break to the upside, which I highly, I'm leaning towards this scenario to play out here, and have a run up to what the heck just happened there? Let's get rid of that last line there. Not sure what the heck happened there. Sorry about that, guys. All right, what I was trying to do is right here. All right, and it breaks out right about the same time. Once it gets about 75% full, let's bring this down a little bit. Okay, and then this will be kind of our measured move to the downside. There's a couple things coming in at that same area. The simple 200 will definitely act as support right in here, and then we have the measured move telling us, you know, it should stop right around the 121 if it does break to the downside, and then from there we'll reassess, because that would mean that, you know, we're definitely setting some lower highs, and also at that point we would be setting a also lower low. So we'll have to reassess from there. But again, because of Bitcoin's latest move and recovery on to the past upward trend, I do think that, you know, we are going to see Litecoin just, you know, keep going up and breaking out of this wedge here, or triangle, however you want to call it, and come up to the upside. 145 will be our target, and from there, you know, you can start maybe taking some profits. The run could continue. There's nothing saying that the run cannot continue past that point. So if it does, then take more profits, and then watch it come back down and reconsolidate at a lower area, maybe around this area right here, around 138 seems like a solid spot to maybe consolidate upwards, and again keep on flagging to the upside. In my opinion, that is a trend. Again, the halving coming in about 5 weeks or so. Definitely some bullish momentum with Litecoin. Keep that in mind. And yeah, let me know what you guys think on Litecoin. If there is something I missed there. I do want to also do some analysis on BNB. CZ going out and giving us a bunch of news last night. We did a video on that last night. If you want to go back and look at it, we talked about the highlights of what is to be expected with BNB in the short term. They are coming out with a bunch of things, and IEOs and IDOs. I went over and I kind of talked about what those means and what those are and what you can expect. So I am at the moment bullish on BNB. I do think we are going to break the prior high back here of about 35.9, 36. If we use the wick, we can call it 36 and almost 36 and a half almost. So because of the news that CZ was talking about yesterday, I do think that we're building some more bullish momentum with BNB. I mean, it is a solid project, regardless of the news that the U.S. based or any U.S. based customer is going to have to move to a different non-Binance owned exchange with a U.S. partner. Aside from all of that, it is a solid project. BNB will be, he said, will be one of the coins that you'll be able to still trade on for U.S. investors. So I don't think that BNB is going to get hit hard at all. And we should see a continuation of the pattern here, setting these. Looking at the what is this? This is our so this is our 200 EMA here acting as support, but then we can also draw a trend line right here, just continuously setting higher lows and also some higher highs, pivot, and just on an uptrend right now. So I do think, again, we're going to see a retest of the prior high and then possibly go above it. So definitely bullish. Again, with all the news that's coming out, BNB is going to have any investor that wants to participate in their their monthly IEOs will have to be staking BNB for a period of no less than 7 days. Which again, there's more accumulation going on. More accumulation, which again just makes BNB stronger, and potentially I mean it's just a more of a bullish setup with that, as we have more people coming in and buying and holding BNB for these separate events. There is also a burn scheduled for, he said, around the 15th of July. So those events always always seem to have a positive effect on BNB coin. So for those reasons, and also for what I'm seeing here on the chart, I am definitely bullish on the medium time frame. And for full disclosure, I did enter a trade on BNB recently, and so I'm going to be holding it for a little bit, for at least a few weeks, until the next IEO comes out, and then we'll see from there. So full disclosure, not financial advice. Again, you guys probably have your own strategy. Let me know if I miss anything there. And then I also wanted to bring up the Link USDT pair, because Link has just been phenomenal the last couple of weeks. Actually, what is this? I mean, you could say the last week or so has just been phenomenal. I mean, just look at this here, and the way things are looking again. Just Link just has a great community, great support. Just something that we occasionally see in the crypto space with projects like XRP, projects like Litecoin, projects that really have that moral and psychological support from its community, and you can see it here play out. It also has a lot of hype in it. Just been absolutely crushing it in the last week, especially. I mean, if we go back to April timeframe, early April, I mean, we can see that Chainlink has actually been one of the top players throughout this run, and just reacting really, really well, and coming along with the bullish momentum, and just joining in the fun here, not wanting to stay behind at all. So this is definitely one of those projects that I would not be bearish on. I think we will see a continuation of this pattern here, some more accumulation, and then another move to the upside once we break out. In fact, we can measure this. Let's take a look here, and let's go to a daily chart, so we can actually plot this a little bit better. All right, let's go back now. Okay, Rapola, we did it again. All right, so Sorry about that, guys. So here's the measured move, and sort of like that, right? Once it breaks out, gosh, we can't even see it. It's so high up there. Gosh, it's gonna be very, very hard for me to see this. Yeah, let's go to maybe a lower time frame. See if we can get this to show. Yeah, no, it's not going to show us. Maybe if we bring the RSI down a bit, yeah, it's still not going to show us. But as you can see, maybe to 2.2 cents here will be our next target. 2.2 to 2.25. Sorry guys, did not anticipate the chart to not really be able to work for me. Even if we go to a log scale, it's still not gonna do much for us. But yeah, look for a target of about 2.25, possibly a bit higher, maybe 2.5, and then maybe start taking gosh, I can't speak tonight. Start taking profits at 2.25 to 2.5. All right, so that'll be it for the TA side of things. I did want to jump into some of the news today. Again, I know that you're probably saturated with the news of of um, the LibraCoin, but I wanted to bring out some essential parts, essential components of what a truly decentralized, permissionless cryptocurrency is. I mean, and we have a perfect example with Bitcoin. It is decentralized, it is permissionless, it is open source. There is no central point of failure, no central banks, no central authority governing, no governance body that is really at the helm of the future of blockchain or Bitcoin blockchain and the project overall. It's completely unregulated. Although some governments try to ban it, it's just something that cannot be taken down or cannot be. You can't go or walk into an office or building and say, "Hey, let me talk to the CEO of Bitcoin. You guys are being shut down." There's no possibility of that ever happening with Bitcoin. I mean, you could do certain things to stifle the network and try to bring it down, but in reality, I mean, there's very little, very very little that can be done. And now with also Bitcoin blockchain network not fully reliant on internet, we now know that a company called Blockstream has actually launched a satellite where you can transmit transactions back and forth and download the blockchain in a more efficient way that it actually takes less data than you would take to download the full node or download the full blockchain into say a server or computer. You can do it through radio waves, and it's a lot easier, a lot more efficient that way. But that technology is very, very nascent, very, very new. There's the system's still a bit clunky on many ends, so we're gonna have to wait for Blockstream to actually develop that further and just make it a more viable option for your everyday node operator. As far as LibraCoin is concerned, it is a centralized entity. As they have rolled out in their white paper, there is a centralized point of failure or a central authority in the Libra Foundation that is comprised of a lot of big players from the traditional business side of things, with traditional business models, which is which is the epitome of what Bitcoin is not. Right. So it is centralized. It is permissioned. The blockchain is permissioned. It's not open source as opposed to Bitcoin. There is again a central authority, closed source, regulated. And we did see news that some regulators are already calling for Facebook to stop or halt its proceedings and project with the whole LibraCoin and the release of it until they can get a full understanding of what's going on and what they're trying to do and how user information is going to be used, and are they taking any sort of safety and what's the word I'm looking for? Security measures for the people that are going to be using the LibraCoin I guess they just want to make sure, right, that the user information will be protected. But these are in a short list. These are some of the things that Bitcoin is that LibraCoin is not. It all, not to mention the fact that the LibraCoin is meant to be pegged to a basket of fiat currencies such as the dollar, the euro, and the British pound, among others. Um, and it is going to be meant for um, as a stable, more of a stable coin, kind of like we do see with Tether and USDC and some other stable coins. Initially, I do think people, if these, which there is a plan to, but there is no contracts at the moment of exchanges trying to bring it into their platforms for traders to use it. We're going to have to wait on that, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be one of the use cases for sure. I mean, with the whole Tether, debacle and controversy, I do think there is room for a more trustworthy stable coin that will help us traders, to trade in and out with more ease and just be able to have that confidence behind the stablecoin that we do decide to use, and in this case could be the Libra coin. So there's definitely a need for something like that that has liquidity. That is one of the big ones. And being that Libra coin is going to be um, based and launched off of Facebook's um, customer base, or not customers, but adopters, if you will, users, which is estimated at over 2 billion. Now, if you do count uh, Instagram and WhatsApp app, if you count those, I mean, the user base jumps to about 3 to 4 billion. So, I mean, just imagine the possibilities there. There is going to be liquidity. Hopefully, that will translate into exchanges and platforms where we can see that. Definitely follow me on Twitter if you have not already. Let me know that you are following, and I do post regular content and news and updates, and you can see what I'll be talking about in these videos. If you want to do that, definitely give me a shout out at the Real Shot 256 on Twitter. And let's see, let's go on with the next piece of news. So the other thing about that's really controversial in my opinion is how they're structuring their LibraCoin Foundation, or just the fact that they're establishing a foundation, supposedly a nonprofit. It goes further to say that it is a centralized with backed by an entity, an actual entity, which Bitcoin is not, right? And the fact that it decided to form this conglomerate of big players from, again, traditional business world, it just goes to it actually, in the blockchain space, we have seen that um, these sort of setups do not work. We've seen foundation after foundation in the crypto space just be torn to shreds. There's infighting. There is a lot of corruption. There is nepotism going on. There is just a bunch of human-like behavior that it always comes back to bite you in the ass. So the fact that they're thinking that a central organization, nonprofit, um, uh, form of governance is a good idea. I mean, the record is showing us that this is not, in fact, a great idea at all. We do see the Tessos Foundation, founded by the Brightman couple, just being dissolved because of the infighting and just the unsurmountable amount of issues with the foundation and the way that it was being ran. You know, is just it was just a huge disappointment, and we did see the foundation being broken up and a big lawsuit, and just got really messy. We also saw the Cardano project go through the same sort of debacle where the foundation administrator um, was hiring his son-in-law and his cousin and his daughter. I mean, just a number of people. I mean, talk about some major nepotism going on there, and just using the funds from the foundation and using it for personal use and gain. And again, this is just typical. I mean, we just saw a politician from San Francisco being accused of. I don't think she was even the legislator in the area, but was the wife of somebody. I don't recall the whole news article, but I do recall the part where this lady was being slapped with a lawsuit because she the maluse of or malappropriation of funds to the tune of like $200,000, where she went out and bought clothes, paid for trips, dinners. I mean, you name it. And we do see some of that same behavior here with these foundations. So as a track record, I mean, we just don't do well in any area of projects or any company, any entity. There's always going to be this sort of issues come up. So again, it just goes to show that in a decentralized industry where Bitcoin is king, and maybe others like Ethereum and um, like Monero and these projects that actually do not have a foundation. Yeah, there's a core development team, but there's not a foundation. There is not a team of individuals that are leading the project, other than just a bunch of guys coding, and maybe calling themselves a core developer group, but they're far from being a authoritative party in the whole equation, right? And the other thing about the Libra coin that nobody was really talking about was the fact that the Libra coin actually creates two tokens, right? The Libra coin, which is for mass adoption, that's going to be rolled out to every user on Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, and it's going to be pegged to a basket of fiat currencies. But then there's also the Libra investment token, which is going to be mainly for internal use. Internal, I mean the conglomerate of businesses that are going to be comprising the list of node operators that will be, sort of acting like what Bitcoin node operators act by appropriating blocks and confirming transactions and whatnot. We do see here that there is going to be that separate token, and it is going to be rolled out to, again, that conglomerate of initial investors. These tokens will be dispersed to these individual companies for their participation. Initially, it is thought that the token will not have any actual value until the ramp up of the token, the main Libra token being spread out and actually gaining some traction and gaining some adoption, and people actually buying into that project. We'll see that the investment token will also start to gain value for these initial investors. And then down below, again, as we were talking about, U.S. lawmakers call for a hearing on Facebook crypto. They definitely want to talk to Mr. Zuckerberg and kind of get his thoughts on where he's going with this. But I mean, guys, really, I really dislike these people in government these days. Um, these regulators, they want to hold the project, but heck, guys, the white paper is readily available. I mean, just a few clicks and you're there. Just why don't you read it first and go about your business, have your little meetings in your offices, Capitol Hill, wherever, and then come out and question. the project leaders and ask for hearings on more specific. I mean, they were asking about user data and how that was going to be protected and how that was going to be used. Read the freaking white paper and find out. And again, call whoever you want and bring them into a hearing and discuss the whole thing. But it just seems backwards to me the way these regulators are acting, calling for a meeting first and not taking the time to either read or find out what Bitcoin is actually doing when the information is right in front of them. So sorry about the long-winded video, guys, but there is a lot of important information. Hopefully, you're getting some educational value out of this. Let me know down in the comments if you're enjoying the content. Um, Definitely want to bring you the latest news and touch upon the most important aspects of the space and the things going around. Um, like I said, also follow us on Twitter at the Real Shot 256 and also on Instagram, same handle, the Real Shot 256. I post daily updates and news and just articles that are important to the cryptosphere. And I would greatly appreciate if you come and join us. But that's all I've got for you today. Definitely leave me down in the comments if you'd like me to cover any other coins, any other projects, anything that you're into. I will be more than happy to discuss that with you on these videos. That's all I've got for you. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you guys on the next video.